Hello, and thank you for joining me. Today we will talk about how to build a results-oriented worksite wellness program based on WellCOA's 7 benchmarks. My name is Melanie Stevenson, and I'm a health educator at Loveless Health Plan in the Outcomes Medical Management Department. I have a bachelor's degree in exercise science from the University of New Mexico, and I'm a certified personal trainer through the American Council on ACE. Through the American Council on Exercise, which is also known as ACE. I've worked in cardiac rehab settings and aiding in behavior and lifestyle modifications, as well as heading and developing worksite wellness programs and curriculum. I enjoy providing information and presentations such as the one we're here for today, so let's go ahead and get started. Let's review a couple of important things. The presentation will last about 45 to 60 minutes. If you have any questions about anything, please feel free to email us at healthysteps@loveless.com. You can expect to hear back from us within 48 hours. We won't be taking any questions during the presentation, so if a question comes to mind, go ahead and jot it down and email it to us. We really want your feedback about the presentation and to know how we can support you in the future, so please complete the evaluation you will receive via email after the presentation is over. Sometimes there's a delay in the slides or audio may become scratchy. If for some reason you get disconnected, don't panic. Just go ahead and simply call back in. So for the past 20 years, WellCOA has dedicated its efforts to studying and promoting the efforts of America's healthiest companies. During that period, WellCOA developed its patented Well Workplace process. At the core of the Well Workplace model are 7 key benchmarks of success. These 7 benchmarks are inherent in companies that have built results-oriented workplace wellness programs. They include capturing senior-level support, creating a cohesive wellness team, collecting data to drive a results-oriented wellness initiative, crafting an annual operating plan, choosing appropriate health promotion interventions, creating a supportive health promoting environment, and then carefully evaluating outcomes. The first benchmark of a results-oriented wellness program is a strong senior-level leadership. When the CEO gets behind the wellness initiative, that's when things really begin to change. So there are 4 characteristics that help measure CEO support, including CEO's communication practices regarding wellness, CEO's resource allocation practices, CEO's delegation practices, CEO's personal health promotion practices. The first characteristic of senior level support is communication. So from a purely generic perspective, it's not difficult to understand why an effective communication is a requirement for any leader who wants to get things done. Without clear and regular communication from the organization's leader, people at all levels will struggle with what's important and what's a priority. Many organizations claim that wellness programs are priority 1. However, the CEO and senior level and other senior level managers are virtually silent when it comes to communicating the importance of protecting and enhancing the health and well-being of their employees and their family. CEOs who communicate the wellness message clearly and frequently have more effective wellness initiatives. For example, to advance wellness throughout the organization, the CEO might support a particular wellness campaign by communicating directly to the employees, or might deliver wellness presentations when all employees get together for meetings. The second characteristic of an exemplary senior level support for wellness is resource allocation. There are 4 areas that the CEO must consider funding. These include staffing, programming, space and time. Exemplarily, champions of worksite wellness programs will work hard to free up the resources necessary to keep employees healthy and productive. According to a world-class expert in return on investment, the ideal investment for an organizational wellness initiative is somewhere in the neighborhood of $100 all the way up to $150 per eligible employee per year. From an investment perspective, it is realistic to think that if you invest this amount, your return should approximately be anywhere from $3 to every $1 that was spent all the way up to $16 to every $1 that was spent. An example of allocating resources might look like making staff available to lead the program, designating space for a quiet room or even an exercise room, funding programs that bring about change, or eliminating barriers that keep people from participating, such as giving flex time or discounts to gyms. The third characteristic of senior level support for wellness is delegation. So delegating responsibilities for wellness on behalf of the CEO is vitally important to any results-oriented wellness initiative. In fact, the more people who have been delegated formal responsibilities for the organization's wellness initiative, the more likely it is to succeed over time, and the more likely it is to become part of the organization's culture. So delegation can take place in a variety of ways. The most common practice is when the CEO encourages the formation of a volunteer wellness committee. This is an excellent first step. However, volunteer initiatives often lose their luster when schedules get hectic or the organization falls on hard times. So for this reason, formally delegating responsibilities is much preferred. Decision makers now have a vested interest in wellness. However, unless middle management and frontline employees are involved, the wellness initiative can be perceived as strong-arming from the top. Therefore, the third and fourth ways to delegate responsibilities is to include middle managers and frontline employees. In this way, the wellness committee becomes very effective. The fourth characteristic of senior level support for wellness is role modeling. So in order for any organizational change initiative to be effective, there has to be a champion. When it comes to organizational wellness, that champion should be the CEO. In fact, when the CEOs value healthy lifestyles and openly practice good health habits, the rest of the organization is likely to follow in their footsteps. Preaching without practicing is a recipe for certain and stinging criticism. Bottom line, in order to be genuine in promoting health, the CEO needs to embrace health as an individual priority. This doesn't mean that the CEO has to be a marathoner or a health Nazi. It just means that they value health and well-being and are taking steps to protect it. So there are 4 elements of strong CEO role modeling. The first is CEO participates in an annual health risk appraisal. The second is that the CEO should receive an annual physical. The third is that the CEO needs to regularly participate in company wellness offerings. And the fourth is that the CEO takes part in community wellness activities. So we've covered the first benchmark of success, which is capturing senior level support, and now we're going to talk about creating a cohesive wellness team. So the second benchmark of a results-oriented wellness program is the creation and integration of a well-functioning team. The reason for teams is clear. Placing the organization's wellness initiative in one person's hand is a big mistake. When the person in charge of the wellness program either gets burnt out or gets promoted, takes a new job, everything that was associated with the wellness program just walked out the door. As a result, the wellness program gets put on hold until someone new gets hired, or worse yet, it goes away altogether. So we're not saying that hiring a full-time person is wrong. In fact, it's ideal. However, we are saying that not involving other key members of the organization in the wellness initiative can be the kiss of death. In addition to diversifying the roles and responsibilities of the wellness team, the guidelines by which these key members adhere to are equally important. We believe there are 2 main characteristics that help create a cohesive wellness team, including the wellness team's history and composition and the wellness team's method of operation. The first characteristic of a successful wellness team is a strong history and proper composition of team members. Wellness teams are important because it is the people on these teams that actually get things done. When it comes to an organization's wellness team, there are 4 elements associated with measuring the stability and composition of an effective group. These include the overall length of time that the team has been in place, the number of members serving on the wellness team, the areas that the team members represent, and the length of term or appointment for each member. The second characteristic of a successful wellness team is the actual method of how the wellness team operates. As with any effective team, it is important to make sure the right people are at the table, but it's equally important to make sure that the right people are doing the right things. This is the essence of the second characteristic. So there are 4 elements that can be used in determining how effectively an organization's wellness team is functioning. The first is presence of team leadership. The second is actual responsibilities that the team is charged with. Third is frequency in which the team meets. And fourth is having a regular agenda to which the team adheres. A solid wellness team can develop concrete approaches that result in health improvement for the employees and cost containment for the organization. So now we've covered the first and second benchmarks. Now we're going to go ahead and move on to talking about collecting data to drive a results-oriented wellness initiative. So the third benchmark of a results-oriented wellness program is the collection of data. If an organization is interested in creating a wellness program that has the capability of containing costs and improving employee health, data needs to be an integrated component. There are 4 subsections of this benchmark, and the first one is organizational data, which includes things like modifiable health care claims and demographics. The second is employee health data, which includes things like health risk appraisal information and health screening data. The third is physical environment data, which includes things like workstation ergonomics, cafeteria setup, and heating and ventilation. And then the fourth subsection is employee protection and productivity data, which includes things like absenteeism, disability, and workers' compensation data. When taken together, these 4 data collection components become very powerful in providing objective data by which rational and strategic decisions can be made. The first component of a successful wellness data collection pertains to the organization as a whole. By collecting things like modifiable healthcare claims and demographics, we can gain some perspective into how healthy the company really is. There are 4 types of organizational data that should be collected every 12 to 24 months. The first analysis that should be done is a review of the organization's demographics. The second analysis is a modifiable medical claims analysis. This analysis will allow the amount of preventable healthcare dollars an organization is spending each year to be pinpointed. The third analysis that should be completed is a corporate health culture audit. This analysis will allow for a better perspective as to what the health norms and values are within the organization. And the final analysis that should be done is an examination of employee productivity, presenteeism, and engagement. And this analysis will allow for a better understanding of how much the organization is losing in terms of poor productivity or unhappy people. The second component of a successful wellness data collection pertains to the employee population. When combined with organizational data information on the health practices, knowledge, interests, and status of the employee population, it can be very powerful. By collecting this type of data, an organization will have gathered the information necessary to allow for the surveillance of health trends within the employee population. With respect to the employee population, there are 4 types of data that should be collected. The first is a health interest survey. This survey allows for a better gauge of what types of programs employees are interested in. The second type of data that should be collected is a personal health assessment. By offering a personal health assessment, population health data can be gathered and employees are provided with information on their health status. The third type of data that can be collected is health screening information, such as blood pressure, cholesterol, BMI, and can be gathered at employee health fairs. The fourth and final type of data that can be collected is health knowledge. This can be very useful as it allows for a better understanding of how much the employee population knows about their well-being. These 4 types of employee health data should be collected every 12 to 24 months. In addition, data can be collected on spouses and retirees. The third component of a successful wellness data collection pertains to the organization's physical environment. According to recent research, the organization's physical environment can